Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Maharaj. Just now come from Charlotte, North Carolina, and Hillsborough, New Golokadam. Anyone have been there before? Yes. Very beautiful deities, Sri Radha Golokananda. Radharani's beauty is super excellent. If there's, you heard of the name of Radharani, Madan Mohan Mohini? Yes? Yes. The meaning of Madan Mohan Mohini is that he attracts the attractor of Cupid. Cupid, he is the personified deity of love, which means in the material world, the boy becomes attracted to the girl, and the girl is attracted to the boy because of Cupid. That's in the material platform. So Lord Krishna attracts Cupid, but Radharani, she attracts Krishna. Even though Krishna is all attractive, but then Srimati Radharani attracts more Krishna. And it says that a devotee who performs pure devotional service, that means surrendered 100% without any motivation, either for material gain or no mental speculation, that devotee also attracts Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna, all attractive, becomes attracted to his devotee because of the love of the devotee. So who is higher, Krishna or the devotion? The devotion, yes. And we've been coming here in ISKCON Tawako, New Jersey, for many years, as far as I can remember. Our Guru Maharaj used to use this address at least 10 years ago. When he was renewing his green card, permanent residence. We came here like in the middle of March. It's still like winter time. Still cold. And we took that austerity, especially Guru Maharaj, to extend his permanent residence status so that he can preach. And I remember we're trying to get his biometrics. And it doesn't work. It doesn't register. The person who's doing the procedure cannot understand why there's no lines there, practically. He says when you clap your hands in front of the deities, also your karma goes away. When you do kirtan in front of the deities, your karma is like a bird. When you clap, the birds fly away. So Guru Maharaj, because he's doing his deity worship every day, so with the oil that he used to massage the Salagram Shivas, made his fingerprints disappear. So it took us a while to have it done. I can still remember that. Is it Bhagavad Gita? Can I have a Bhagavad Gita, please? Chapter 12, Devotional Service. At the beginning, Hare Krishna. This is ISKCON of New Jersey, Jacksonville. Still in the map. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. We have very beautiful deities here, especially Sisi Gornitai. Whoever is in the middle on the altar, they are the main deities. It's like if you go to New Jagannath Puri in San Francisco, in Berkeley, who is the main deities there? Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra. How about in Vrindavan? Krishna Balaram. Very rare that you will find Sisi Gornitai in the middle of the altar. There's another temple in Atlanta. Also, Sisi Gornitai in the middle. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Sunyavadhi Paschachade Satarine Om Jnana Tinandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksurunilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sadvaitam Savadutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sarana Lita Sri Visakanditanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dito Daratpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shivasani Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Reading from the Bhagavad Gita as it is, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, H.H Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Chapter 12, Devotional Service, text number 6 and 7. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read, because the purport is about 2.5 pages. I will read, and as I read along, I'll try to explain. I don't know how far we can go. And you may raise your hand anytime if you need something to be clarified or if you have any question. Is that okay? So don't be shy, okay? Raise your hand. Yetu sarvani karmani mai sanyasya matvara ananjanaiva yogena mam jayanta upashyate tesam aham samudarta nityo samsara sagarat babhamina chiratparta mai aveshita chetasam. Translation. But those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me, and being devoted to me without deviation, engage in devotional service and always meditating upon me, having fixed their minds upon me, O son of Prita, for them I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. Purport. It is explicitly stated here that the devotees are very fortunate, delivered very soon from material existence by the Lord. In pure devotional service, one comes to the realization that God is great and that the individual soul is subordinate to Him. His duty is to render service to the Lord, and if he does not, then he will render service to Maya. So the position of the devotees are very fortunate. Why is that? Because the Supreme Lord will deliver them very soon. Prabhupada says here, very soon. Sometimes the devotees, due to their pure, loving service, the rendering of their service towards the Supreme Lord is so intense that he does not have to wait at the time of death to be transferred into the spiritual sky. Even while living, breathing, and in existence. Even while living in the material world, he's not in the material world. He is already in the spiritual world. This is what he called samadhi. Samadhi means being absorbed 24 hours, 100% into loving exchange of devotional service with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord reciprocates naturally. The those who are in love with the Supreme Lord, they can talk with the Supreme Lord, and the Supreme Lord will talk back to them. So how many are we in that kind of position, that kind of state? And this is very rare. It is not out of sentimental. Sometimes you hear a devotee, oh yes, I dreamt of the Supreme Lord. I dreamt of Krishna last night, and he was telling me like this. But then during the daytime, he is absorbed in material activities. Does it add up? No. So we can see if the Lord's devotee is absorbed 24 hours, then he's always thinking of Krishna, always remembering him, constantly. And therefore, all of his activities are dovetailed in the service of the Supreme Lord. There is no more material activities. There is no more karma. What is karma? Karma means action whereby if it's done for one's own benefit, then the resultant action can be received either sooner or later, even after death, or even while one is still alive. Karma. For every action, there is equal or opposite reaction. But Prabhupada says, there is no such thing as good karma. All karma is bad. Even what we consider to be good karma. Why? Because we have to take birth again to receive the reaction of that good karma. Some fruitive activities, like philanthropic activity, like building a hospital for the sick, feeding the poor, the hungry, or giving them shelter to the homeless. These are material activities. However, service done for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord, it may be looking like also materialistic activity by the materialist. It is not so. Because they yield Krishna karma. This is what you call Krishna karma. Krishna karma means one makes advancement spiritually every time he performs such activities. Like cleansing the temple, or washing the pots used for cooking to be offered to the Supreme Lord, or doing the accounting of the temple's expenses, or helping to construct a temple for the Lord. These are not mundane activities. These are spiritual activities. And it says that anyone also who helped construct temple for the Lord will guarantee one's residence in the spiritual world. Who would want to go back home, back to Godhead? Or who would not want to go back home, back to Godhead? Only those who are materially engrossed in sense enjoyment. Srila Prabhupada says, unless one becomes disgusted with this material world, he'll not go back home, back to Godhead. So for others, they'll be fortunate enough to be delivered very soon from the material existence. What is this material existence? We are in a place where it is not our real habitat. Prabhupada gave an example. It's like a fish out of the water. You put the fish in the land and give the fish all the enjoyment, sense enjoyment that one can have. No, the fish will not enjoy. Fish has to go back to the water. So we are like that. This is not a real place of habitat. A real place of habitat is in the spiritual world. This material world, it is guaranteed full of miseries and sufferings. And in the spiritual world, it's full of knowledge, bliss, and eternity. So when one comes to the realization that God is great, it's like in many religions, they say God is great, but they don't know how great is God. But in our understanding, in our teachings, even though Krishna is just merely like a young cowherd boy, very simple, but that is the opulence of the Supreme Lord. It shows in Vrindavan his opulence. Greatest opulence, more than the Vaikuntha planets. Living in an environment where seemingly is very simple village lifestyle, tending the cows, playing along with our boyfriends, and also dallying with his cowherd girlfriends. This is God, and this is how great God is. So our duty is to serve the Lord. We only have another choice. Either we serve Krishna or we serve Maya. Nothing is in between. It's not possible to be in between because we're not be able to maintain it. So at least we should serve Krishna 51%. 49% Maya. And if you're 51% towards Krishna, eventually that will increase more and more and more. Sometimes they will ask, Maharaj, how can I balance material life and spiritual life? It's not possible to do it 50-50. You have to dedicate more into the spiritual aspect of life. As stated before, the Supreme Lord can be appreciated only by devotional service. Bhaktyamam abhijana ti yavanyaschashvi tatpataha. It is only by devotional service that we can approach the Supreme Lord. Why do we have to approach the Supreme Lord? Because that is our nature. Our nature is to be happy. Anandamaya vyasat. And we cannot find happiness in the material world. We can only find happiness because we are individual, living entity, spiritual in nature. And therefore our love for Krishna is natural. But somehow we have forgotten Krishna. Prabhupada says our main disease is that we have forgotten God. That's why we are here in the material world. We have forgotten God, or we want to be God. Or we would like to eliminate God. That is the conditioned state of the living entity. But our original nature is that we're all servants of the Supreme Lord. Prabhupada gave an example. It's like sugar is always sweet. It's like sometimes we're given some sweets. Maharaj, this is not sweet. It's a little sweet. Some rasgulla. So that is the nature of rasgulla. It is sweet. Yeah? You cannot have a rasgulla which is not sweet. Even little sweet. It's still sweet. So, and water is liquid. And fire has heat and light. So the living entities, their nature is to serve. That means us. Either we serve Maya again, or we serve Krishna. But serving Maya, that is not our real nature. That is conditioned nature, conditioned state. Our real state, constitutional position, is that we serve Krishna. Again, we have forgotten that due to coming in contact with the material energy. we tend to identify with this body or with this mind as ourself. Being in the bodily platform means mental platform, because the mind is still part of the 8 material elements. Bumir apo nalobayo kamana budir echa ankara itinami bina prakriti ashtida. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, gross elements, and then the subtle elements, material elements, mind, intelligence, and ego. So how can we come to that platform where we can serve Lord Krishna? First of all, we have to control our senses. Our senses, which is uncontrolled, the mind cannot be peaceful. We can only control the senses by having the mind be peaceful. How can the mind be peaceful? If we have very strong intelligence. Intelligence controls the mind. So how the intelligence can be sharp? That's why we have this Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam. We're reading from the 7th canto, The Science of God, the 5th chapter, whereby Prahlad Maharaj has been asked by his father Hiranyakashipu, what have you learned from the school, from your teachers, Sanda and Amarka? And then he started to narrate the 9 processes of devotional service. Starting from hearing, Shavanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Arjanam, Bandhanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. From hearing, it's like today, we're hearing from the Bhagavad Gita. It sharpens our intelligence. If we read Bhagavad Gita every day or the Srimad Bhagavatam, then our heart becomes purified. Purified of what? Purified of unwanted desires. Prabhupada says our heart is as black as a coal. How black can that be? Why is it black? Because of so many sinful desires. Sinful desires means desires for oneself. And extended wise, if we have family. Sense enjoyment, then extended sense enjoyment. That means family members. So we go back. How? We have to always remind ourselves that we are all servants of Krishna. That is real ego. As soon as I identify that I'm a man, I'm a woman, I'm a Christian, I'm a Hindu, I'm an Indian, I'm an American, I'm a Filipino, then we cannot go far. We're always going to be in this state where we will be miserable and suffering and not be satisfied. So only in devotional service we find that we'll be able to be happy. Not only on the weekends. The materialists are like that. They will work hard for 5 days. We have one of our god brother here, he was working like 16 hours before, 18 hours before. He's not able to eat. His wife will feed him while he's in the computer. He's being cheated by his employer. He's only paid for like 40 hours, but he will work 80 hours. But he's in America. Is that enjoyment? No way. Until one day he says, that's it. I'm done. I quit. So when will that day when we will say, I quit this material world? Let me get out of this material world. I will do anything and everything. I'm ready to pay the price. Are we looking for that solution? Maybe not, because we are in illusion. Thinking that, oh, I have so many things. I'm surrounded by my aristocratic family. I have a big bank account. I have a nice house. And I'm going to change again next year for a bigger house. So when will it stop? When is it going to stop? There's no end. It's like you're trying to destroy a fire, but you're pouring petrol on it. When? That's right. So someday we will come to the point that, hey, it's useless. I cannot endeavor much anymore. I'm disgusted. Let me just dovetail all of my activities and the results of my fruitive activities for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord or His devotees. Rest assured, Krishna will deliver us very soon. Mentions here. As stated before, the Supreme Lord can be appreciated only by devotional service. Therefore, one should be fully devoted. One should fix his mind fully on Krishna in order to achieve Him. One should work only for Krishna. It does not matter in what kind of work one engages, but that work should be done only for Krishna. It's like here in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna as a warrior, his duty is to fight. But Arjuna doesn't want to fight. Why? Because he is against his kinsmen. He's against his relatives. He's against his grandfather, Bhishma Pitamaha. But Krishna says, no. Just do your duty as a Satriya. All of them has already been killed by me. You do it for me, for my pleasure. So how do we do this practically? We're not Arjunas, right? But we should follow in the footsteps of Arjuna. His dilemma is much more than we have. Just imagine if someone tells you, kill your parents. What? How can I do that? That's impossible. You immediately will be running away. Arjuna was trying to do that, but no, Krishna convinced him in the end. So how do we practically apply this? That we perform devotional service even though most of you, if not all of you, are in the Grihastha ashram. And that ashram, which is meant for being responsible, is a responsible ashram. Brahmacharis, they just study the Vedas, teach the Vedas to others, cultivate knowledge, give knowledge to others. How about the Grihasthas, who are engaged in some work that have them to be always surrounded by materialists? How is that? How are you going to get out of that situation? But Prabhupada says in the purport here, one should work only for Krishna. One should always think of Krishna, fix his mind fully on Krishna. One may say, Maharaj, how can I do that? My work doesn't have any connection with Krishna. My work is like a worldly work. It's very difficult, isn't it? And in the Bhagavad Gita, this verse from the 9th chapter, last verse, and 1865, Man mana bhavamad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. Always think of me. Maharaj, how can I think of Krishna? I'm working. IT or some labor work or some professional work. Not so difficult, but it takes some practice. Krishna consciousness is difficult, but it is not impossible. Like spiritual life is difficult, but material life is impossible. It's not possible to be happy. You can read Bhagavad Gita early in the morning before going to work. You can chant some rounds before going to work. You only eat Krishna prasadam. You think of Krishna's pastimes, what you've read from the Krishna book or the 10th canto or the Srimad Bhagavatam. There's so many ways, there's so many stories that you can think of. Or if you have chance while working, you can hear Prabhupada's lectures. Is that possible, some of you? Yes. Sometimes you can wear like your earbuds or headphone. You can do that. You can hear Prabhupada's bhajans or kirtans while working. That is possible. Yes? Or during your break time, you can share your prasadam to your fellow workers. Is that possible? Yes. And then when they become addicted to the prasadam, then they will ask you, hey, how do you do this? Then you tell them, there's a secret. When we cook, we don't taste. What? Only in Krishna consciousness movement that when we cook, we don't taste. Others, they keep on, a little bit more black kala mirchi, a little bit more namak. Do we do that? No. And that's why our prasadam is a weapon against Maya. You have 2 rasgullas you buy from the Patel brothers, and you want rasgulla cooked here in Tobacco, offered to Gaurnita, Shinataji, Sitaram, Lakshman. Ano? Looks the same. But when you taste the prasadam, it's heavenly. There you go, confirm. No, you cannot compare. The devotees does not desire any achievement other than pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is the secret here. This is the secret. They will do anything and everything, and their only desire is to achieve that having only Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, be pleased. I was reading the other day that a person, they did a study medically, that a person can have over 20,000 desires per day. You know, sometimes they put apparatus here and everywhere, like connected to a machine that, gives graphs. Can you imagine that? So we can measure our advancement in Krishna consciousness depending on how much desires we can have per day. If somehow or other in the whole day that we can only have one main desire, that is to please Krishna, that means we are in the Uttama platform. One who is in Samadhi, one who is fully absorbed in Krishna consciousness. One-pointed attention. Ekaha Kurunandana. Chapter 2, text 41. This is the verse that inspired Srila Prabhupada to be determined and convinced to fulfill the desire and instruction of his Guru Maharaj. If one's desire is many branched, then it's very difficult to accomplish. Even at least one. Sometimes a person can have want to accomplish many things, but he cannot accomplish even a single achievement. His life's mission is to please Krishna, and he can sacrifice everything for Krishna's satisfaction, just as Arjuna did in the battle of Kurukshetra. Jai Shri Shri Gauranga, Shri Mataji ki Jai, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki Jai. I'm just going to read the last portion of this paragraph, and we don't want to extend further. I'm supposed to finish by 6 o'clock. I repeat, the devotees does not desire any achievement other than pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His life's mission is to please Krishna, and he can sacrifice everything for Krishna's satisfaction, just as Arjuna did in the battle of Kurukshetra. The process is very simple. One can devote himself in his occupation and engage at the same time in chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Such transcendental chanting attracts devotee to the personality of Godhead. So this is the Yuga Dharma. It's like in every ages there is a certain process whereby one can be delivered from the cycle of repeated birth and death. In other yugas, there are different mantras as well. It's like in Satya Yuga, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Or even in here, in our yuga, present age, chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, not just cleanse our heart, but also ultimately gives us Braja Prem. Our Kali Yuga is very special. Not every Kali Yuga Braja Prem is available. What is Braja Prem? Braja Prem means the love of the inhabitants of Vrindavan towards Lord Krishna. For them, it doesn't matter whether Krishna is God or not. They don't care. Whether if Krishna is God, they don't care. All they care is that how they can increase their love towards Krishna, how they increase their service towards Lord Krishna. That is Braja Prem. For them, they don't care. They rather die if they're not able to serve Lord Krishna. It seems to be very impossible to attain, isn't it? But it is possible by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. It's free. We don't charge any fee. You go to some so-called spiritual institution, they'll give you a secret mantra and there's a certain fee. And that secret mantra is supposed to be only individual. But they found out they all have the same mantras. And still didn't give them happiness that can satisfy them at all times. Spiritual life is difficult because we have other priorities. Priorities other than Krishna. But somehow we should try. That is normal in the beginning. It's not expected that one fully surrender, 100%. This is the demand of Lord Krishna. Sarva dharmam parityajya. Give up everything. Well, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't ask for giving up anything. He just says, chant Hare Krishna. Like Srila Prabhupada. Chant Hare Krishna and be happy. In the beginning, when we meet a person in the street, we just ask them, my dear sir, just chant Hare Krishna. Your life will become sublime. Your life will become auspicious. Did we tell them, my dear sir, before you chant Hare Krishna, you must not eat meat, no intoxication, no gambling. Did we tell that? No. Just chant. Like in the beginning, in the early days in 26 2nd Avenue, Srila Prabhupada, no rules. Just chant and take prasad. And hear Bhagavad Gita, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And only at the time of initiation, one aspiring disciple asked Srila Prabhupada, Swamiji, is there any rules we have to follow? And Prabhupada says, oh, I thought you would never ask. It's so simple, isn't it? Prabhupada says Krishna consciousness is so simple, you will miss it. Again, we are given this human form of life, and especially most of you are from India. You have a certain duty to do. Make your life perfect and help others also to make their life perfect. I've seen here, like, not all from India, but this is not sectarian. We should take advantage of this. And therefore, ultimately, after the cleansing of the heart, then we will attain love of God. And that is bhakti. Bhakti comes after liberation. Now we're just attempting to do bhakti. I know some devotees here, I've seen them for many years, at least 10 years, and they're doing the same thing again and again. No hakanite. No, not being tired. They're always there for Mangalarti, and they're always smiling. We should be like them. I don't have to mention their names, but I'm sure you know who they are. So bhakti is there and is meant for everyone. Continue what you're doing, but increase more of your attachment to the chanting of the holy name. Have faith in the holy name and there'll be no difficulty at all. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we stop here now. Any question or comments or reflection? Yes, sir.
Maybe a strange question, but you said karma, like, so this all karma is bad karma?
All karma?
And
yeah. In this world there is no good. Everything is bad.
so the question is, like, so when we do devotional service, we destroy all karma, bad and good, right?
Yeah.
So is there...
You actually eliminate, you uproot. It's like, I've seen this video. I don't know if you've seen this video. Lust is a different kind of liquid, different color. Anger, different color. Lust, anger, greed, different color. Madness, different color. Illusion, different color. Envy, different color. So it became black. Now the chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is like water. It is the last. So you keep pouring water into that blackish liquid. You know what's gonna happen? It becomes white. It becomes pure. There is nothing, no impurities that the holy name will not be able to make it pure.
So is there a sequence in which the karma is destroyed? Is it like the bad karma is destroyed first and then the good karma? Let's say, I don't know.
Does it matter to you? So? You will not even know the difference. Because you'll be happy. You don't have to worry, oh, which karma is burnt first? Oh, maybe that one, oh, maybe this one. No, forget that. You just keep going. This is irrelevant now for you.
Thank you.
You don't have to calculate which karma. No, there's no calculation here. Because you're absorbed, you're in samadhi. When you're in samadhi, automatically you follow the rules and regulations. You get up also for Mangalarti. You also chant your rounds. You serve prasadam. You go out distribute books. You go out in Harinam. A person who is absorbed, that's what you mean by in Krishna consciousness, that is samadhi. All of his activities are fully engrossed in serving the Supreme Lord and his devotees. Sannyasi is supposed to be that, 24 hours engaged. But there is also a phrase called grihastha sannyas. If a grihastha is also engaged 24 hours in Krishna's service, that grihastha is also a sannyasi. He's absorbed. That is, these designations are still material. One should not be a sannyasi or grihastha or brahmachari or vanaprastha. No. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says like that. We just have to identify him as a servant of Lord Krishna. But if we are a servant of our senses, then Hare Krishna. A lot of miseries. I traveled all over the world and I've seen people that are really suffering. Even in America, they're suffering. Look at them traveling breakneck speed, 24 hours in the highway. What do they do? What is their purpose? We also drove to come here. But these guys, like day in and day out, they just spend most of their time driving, traveling. Why? It is only to have a little bit of sense enjoyment. And that sense of enjoyment is actually part of the suffering. It's not really enjoyment, because real enjoyment is always increasing and unending. This is in bhakti only. Okay? Any other points or comments? Yes, sir.
So, telling about the three factors of bhakti, which is enthusiasm, patience, and courage. My question is about the patience. Why is Krishna Bhakti such a time-consuming process?
Time consuming? What do you mean by time consuming, sir?
So there are like stages where you have Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya. Everything doesn't come like immediately.
Yeah, if you get married today, you want to have a child tomorrow? Is that what you want? Yes, I think so. But no, you have to wait. If you're fertile, if you're potent, and your wife is fertile, at the time of conception, the child will be there. Then you have to wait. How many months? 9 months? 10 months? Huh? Sukadev Goswami, he waited 16 years inside the womb of his mother. He doesn't want to get out. So my dear sir, this is what you call science. Devotional service is a science. There is a certain sequence here. You cannot make your way out so quick unless you get the blessings of a pure devotee. Like Kubja. Kubja, she was lusty over Lord Krishna. But she became a pure devotee. Look at the prostitute who tries to entice Haridas Thakur. It took her 3 days only to attain love of God. Yeah? But for us, my dear sir, we have to work hard. We are in U.S. of America. People live here like kings. And they think like they're kings. No, everyone is suffering here. They may be driving a Rolls Royce, but you are still suffering. And the other person is driving a Mazda. He's also suffering. Oh, Prabhupada give an example. It's like a prisoner. But one prisoner, he has a chain made of gold. And the other one made of silver. And the other one made of iron. All of them are chained up. They cannot go. So, the best solution is to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Sincerely, attentively, no offense. Especially today is Ekadasi. Whatever you do in Ekadasi is multiplied so much more. Especially hearing and chanting. So if you do so, whatever you do on Ekadasi, it will reflect your next 2 weeks. Remember this. Whatever you do today, that will reflect your 2 weeks. If you chant sloppy rounds, Hare Krishna. But if you're so intense, you're so sincere, the whole day is focused on Krishna, more likely your next 2 weeks will be like that. So every 2 weeks, every Ekadasi, that's why Ekadasi is the day of Lord Hari. We should take advantage of this. And I'm so happy to spend Sunday feast with you today. I've seen so many sincere devotees here today. Otherwise, you could be out there doing Hare Krishna. Okay? Thank you very much, Nilamada Prabhu, for giving us the opportunity to share some Krishna consciousness with the congregation here in ISKCON, New Jersey, Tuwaco, the original ISKCON, New Jersey. Right?